Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Thank you for spending time with us in your crazy, hectic schedule.
Indeed.
The world is a crazy place. It's a hectic place. It's going through insane changes. And what happens when humanity gets used to insanity? We've all been brought up in insanity, but unfortunately, it's not always easy to see just how it could be and, compared to what it is.
When we're brought up with it, we just kind of accept it as normal now, right?
Yeah, I mean, how many people do you see that go through day after day, spending most of their lives doing things that they'd rather not be doing, or being told to do things that they don't really believe in, period. It's all about control, and it's all about the haves and the have-nots. That's what happens in a Kali Yuga, in a dark, dark age. This is what we've been brought up with. It's what's been basically imprinted into us, and it is a traumatic experience to go through life in a Kali Yuga. Again, in a dark age of unenlightened beings leading everything in society. Certainly we can see it. The hypocrisy abounds as the haves keep having more, and meanwhile the average person has less. It's so sad. It really takes a fundamental change in the way we do things and the way we look at things. An unmanaged mind reverts to repetitive old negative thought patterns and beliefs. A conscious and aware managed mind chooses new thoughts that will enhance your life and your relationships. The problem is that others have been managing our minds for us, and they've been managing them with limited belief sets. They've been basically indoctrinating us to accept really what we should say is totally unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think so. I think they've taught us not how to think, but they've taught us just simply what to think.
Yeah, I mean, it starts at a very, very early age. As we said, maybe it starts as soon as the doctor slaps you on the butt, as soon as you've been introduced to the new world. And, of course, how many kids remember doing this? You get up and you say your Pledge of Allegiance to a country that might not have even existed when your grandparents were alive, or great-grandparents, or a country that might not exist in the future, or that borders have changed, dozens of times in perhaps 100 years. What is the real purpose behind all this? Again, it's ingraining limiting belief sets. Think about, again, what happens when you go and serve in the military. Who are you really serving in the military? That's the thing that people are awakening to at this point in time. The insanity starts as soon as we are introduced to this world. It becomes a ball in the chain that literally is massive, and we are dragging around all day long, keeping us from living up to our own potential. It's time to think way outside of the box. I mean, way, way, way outside of the box. Just when you look at the monetary system and where they want to take it, to where they can just totally shut you off at any moment if you don't conform again to what society, which is ultimately just a small group of ruling elite. There's better words we could probably use, but that is a word that's familiar to many people. Where again that have and the have not divide, it just gets ever larger. Think about this. If we did only barter, just to throw that out there, barter and trade, you wouldn't really have a banking system. You may not have a taxation system. You certainly wouldn't have the same taxation system we have now. No, right away, that would really decimate several levels of the parasitic system that is in place. So Cindy did get a message about thinking about being more out of the box, taking an out of the box approach. And, we're in a new age now. We are in a new era. Dare you say it, that words, a new age, because that's been so toxic, because, that whole phrase, new age, is something that, again, the old systems have made many people absolutely terrified of. It's because of the conditioning. Again, they want us to fear a new era in which we actually have freedom. And we could think of new ways of doing things. We could eliminate all political systems. And perhaps instead of what we have, barter and trade. And, maybe we change every year a group of selected elders, known for their wisdom, not for their ability to take bribes. Yeah.
I know, not for their ability to hoard and raise the prices and do the things that makes them comfortable so that they kind of feast on those who are weaker than them. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, if the money system, if we're going to have this, then at least teach people about it more in depth. Don't just teach people how to write a check, or just how to do your taxes. I mean, really, how do you handle money? And if it's going to be a barter system, I think people should be taught how to barter in a really smart way. I mean, everyone should be taught something about energy exchange in a in-depth way. That's what I think.
Yeah, the problem is, though, that the teaching comes from individuals in this reality that are extremely corrupted.
Yeah.
And it's again why, when you look to the Bible, it's like the masses get parables, but the secrets are revealed to the inner circle only.
Yeah.
That says everything about the system.
Yeah. And, it should be different. It should be, we should be taught by, like Mike said, elders. But I did get this very lovely transmission from Mother Mary, and it does talk about repeating patterns and how it is up to us to break out of those patterns. But she said this. She said, "Beloved child of light, I come as a whisper inside your heart, softer than breath, older than time. If you were raised in chaos, peace may feel unbearable. This is not your fault, yet it is your sacred invitation to heal. Because healing is possible now, it is your responsibility. Because freedom is your birthright. Your mind became what was repeated, but now you may choose what you repeat. You may write a new rhythm into your being. The beliefs you hold are not truths, they are echoes, patterns inherited from others. Most of what you call I was written before your 7th year. You did not choose your fear. It was absorbed from those who are fearful. You did not choose your doubts. They were handed to you by those who could not believe. You did not create your shame. It was given to you by those who could no longer hold it. Your brain now guards these beliefs because they feel familiar. And the familiar feels safe. This is why freedom feels like a threat. This is why love feels like danger. This is why peace feels like pain. Your deeper mind does not crave your success, it craves your survival. It will even sabotage the new if the new threatens the old identity. But hear me now. You are not condemned to this wiring. You are not bound to repeat the inherited story. With gentleness, with patience, with breath, you can teach your cells a new song. You can teach your heart to receive peace. You can teach your hands to hold love. I am here, beloved. My mantle wraps you even now. Each time you choose a kinder thought, each time you open to a softer truth, heaven sings within you. You are loved, you are safe, you are becoming new, and I am with you. So I found this to be very beautiful, and what she's speaking about is changing your frequency. You're going to continue to repeat patterns because your brain, your subconscious, has found a safe way to do things during trauma. And that's kind of burrowed into your mind. So whenever you come up against something, your mind is going to say, hey, let's take this path. We need to do this because this has kept us safe all these years. But we have to figure out those patterns and where are we repeating them. And that's why we are stuck. So we have that ability now because, well, we're not children anymore. We're older and we can make our own decisions and our own choices, but we do have to find where the negative patterns start and stop. It's not an easy task, but it's doable.
Absolutely. The world needs to change its mindset from competition to cooperation. And that's huge because we've been brought up with competition. It's Darwinian evolution. It's all about survival of the fittest. Instead, when we look to nature, look to the ants, look to bees, look to the way that these insects, for instance, are always working so much for the greater good of the all that they sacrifice their lives to guard and protect, their wholeness. And again, it's a step in the right direction. And it's a step in heading towards what we might call like a 5D reality. Again, as you go higher up in the dimensions, there's a greater unity. There's a deeper understanding of ultimately the oneness. We're always fighting with ourselves. That is ultimately a truth that we have to be realizing. And, again, we've been divided on purpose, but we can come together, again, in a very purposeful manner. It takes deprogramming, which can be very terrifying. And it is terrifying to, again, deprogram all that's been instilled in us since childhood. That's why it will actually typically take quite a while. From what we've understood, there's perhaps hundreds of years truly of a transition period between the Yugas. I know there is the hope out there, and we'll see how things go, that things can be completely changed with a solar flash. I don't know that for sure. I hope that is the case. I do think that it feels that there is there's certainly a splitting of those that see the bigger picture from those that are still completely in the system and in the conditioning that they've been brought up with, that don't even question narratives because, again, it's all fear-based. Everything is fear-based. Don't do that or you're going to go and be burning forever in hell. Where's the love in that? Again, that quote, fear of the Lord is beginning of wisdom. No, nothing could be farther from the truth when you're talking about the source of all or the creator of this universe. But when you replace that word Lord with, again, the draconian reptilian control system, there's a reason why people have been brought up with fear. And it's overcoming that. And it's us coming together and working together, which, again, it's literally not in your programming. It's what we've been brought up with. Think about school. We break up into teams, the shirts versus the skins. It's always competition. People get graded. Oh, Nancy got an A, but Billy got an F. It's not understanding that each individual is looking at things from a different way, a different perspective. We each have unique talents. Everything about this system that we have been brought up with is ultimately prohibited from true growth.
It's kind of like taking a monkey and an alligator and an elephant and a crocodile and a hippopotamus and a rabbit and telling them, okay, you guys are all going to be graded on the same exact test. So good luck. It's just everyone is so very, very different. And, it's like grading a fish on how it climbs a tree. It's just not fair. This world that we live in, it needs to be a little more symbiotic, and it all starts within ourselves.
Absolutely. So it all starts with changing our patterns, changing our habits, and recognizing those things that we need to change, and sharing the love, because there's plenty of it out there. It just needs to be cultivated. Thank you guys for your support. We look forward to your comments. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.